Hello everybody, this is Fernando for the latest special edition video. I do these every now and then because I want to be able to share with everyone here, all of you wonderful YouTube fans and followers out there, with regards to some answers to some of the most common things that I'm asked. And the reason why I do this is because it's kind of hard to believe, but every day I get a whole bunch of comments, some messages, some questions, either stuff that's input on the channels directly or they're sent to me privately, and in some cases they're on my Facebook channel as well. And if I was able to respond to every single one of them, then technically I wouldn't even have time to do anything involving my other videos. I get so many of these on a daily basis now that YouTube stopped sending me alerts a long time ago. It used to be that YouTube, when I was first starting, I would get daily email alerts about certain posts or comments or even private messages sent my way. But it looks like they have a little bit of an algorithm within their feature where once someone crosses a certain threshold, then that's it. They're not going to inundate the user with those notices anymore. And so that's why it's up to me to try to comb through a lot of these things. And I try to look at every single comment and message. I generally probably see about 99% of stuff because a lot of times even then, YouTube will move automatically, not my choice, but they'll move automatically a lot of your stuff that you send my way to the junk folder. And the reason for that is because the way the algorithms work with YouTube, they try to filter out what they consider to be junk. So then I have to look through those to make sure that a lot of those are truly legitimate items and not stuff that's considered spam. So all in all, I wish so heartily that I could go through and answer every single one of your wonderful comments and make sure that I could dedicate as much time to it. But again, probably the first question I'll respond here, why don't I respond so much with regards to your entries? It's because, again, I just don't have that time to do so. So that's why I try to do these special edition videos. To give you an example, I'm going to probably illustrate about maybe 9 questions, and these were all received just within the past 4 or 5 days. This is me combing through probably almost 100 or so entries just within the past couple of days, and just trying to filter these questions within them altogether. So just to give you an idea essentially of what I see and hear on a daily basis. So again, thank you so much. I wish I could again get through everything, but I want to be able to at least dedicate a portion of things to this. So the first question that I commonly get all the time is, do I believe in these things that I talk about, in these creatures and these cryptids and these monsters, maybe sometimes even stuff involving the new features that I'm talking about, like the ghosts and spirits. And as I've mentioned before in the past, I do believe in them, only in the sense that I'm a huge science guy. I'm very much a guy that if it's nature, nature makes sense. And so when it comes to these creatures, especially the cryptids, I do believe that a lot of them do happen to exist out there. I mean, there was millions and millions of years back creatures on this planet that would defy the imagination. Of course, they're now extinct, but to give you an idea, at some point, very, very beautiful, illustrious, original, far out there creatures were on this planet. So if they were already at one point, why wouldn't they be there today? Just because we exist here doesn't mean that there's something else entirely out there that you and I would absolutely be baffled with regards to how it could exist. Like I'm just throwing a name out, like the Sky Beast, anything along those lines. There should be proper credence given to them also existing. That's why I do believe in these creatures. Are some of them fake? Sure. I mean, there's always going to be something involving any kind of medium where there's always going to be some falseness associated with it. But with regards to these creatures, because I'm a big science guy, I do strongly believe that in some cases evolution does throw things for a loop when it comes to their designs, and when that happens we get creatures like this. And I want to believe in them too, because the stuff that's so plain and ordinary in this world, I mean, imagine if some of these creatures that we've talked about in all these past videos, if they were more commonplace, how crazy would that be? Even some of the more fantastical stuff, like some of my favorites like Burunjur, or anything involving Zaratan, or even one of my all-stars that you've heard me mention countless times, like the Genius Loki. It's all that stuff that just makes me believe that if this were true, this would make the world a much, much cooler place. So yes, that is my opinion on that. Another one that I was asked recently is, do I understand where all these creatures come from? Again, I think it has to do 100% with evolution and anything involving the world and nature and how it comes up with its own perfect creatures and how they adapt to their own societies and how they adapt to their own places. That's where I think most of these creatures come from altogether. I don't really think about the angle involving some of the kooky or crazier stuff, like, let's say, mankind creating biological creatures that shouldn't exist. The kind of stuff that normally you would see like on a sci-fi original movie where they break loose and wreak havoc and somehow end up out there in this world as new cryptids. No, not that angle. Instead, I do believe that it just comes 100% from nature. But another question I got is, how come some are not as well known as others? That's why I do these videos. I hearken this time and time again. The whole point for all my videos is I love picking on the most obscure stuff. I love talking about the stuff that deserves to be shared with everyone. There's the all-star stuff, of course, like the Bigfoots and the Loch Nesses. Those are boring to me because everyone knows about them. But anything else involving the more obscure stuff, especially like, let's say, in certain regions where they are the all-stars, but step outside the region and people will look at you scratching their head wondering what the hell you're talking about. That's what I try to share with everybody. And what's so great about it is sharing your inputs, all your comments. There's so many people from around the world. YouTube gives me an idea essentially of, I guess it finds the pings of people's internet browsers and where they're coming from, and it gives me a map sometimes and shows me where most of my viewers come from. And it's so fascinating to see the map of the world and to see where people are listening to and watching my videos and then posting comments to my videos too. So no doubt all those other regions, they have their own specialized cryptids, their own specialized monsters, and what they experience on their end. And that's why I love gathering your input. That's why I always end practically every video with something along the lines of, post your comments, share them below, because I love being able to have everyone share their own experience from their own part of the world about what I'm talking about. And again, anything else involving the more all-star oriented stuff, that's why I don't focus on those. Instead, it's just purely the stuff that is the most routine. And I'm sure that some of that must frustrate some out there, because know that some of your suggestions are repeated non-stop all the time whenever I post those videos where I ask for your new suggestions. And if you haven't seen them in a while, it could be that because, again, it's just either A, not very interesting, or too much to talk about, because I want to make sure that the stuff that I pick is the most original, the most fascinating, the stuff that you would want to hear, as opposed to others. And then at the same time, some of the stuff might just be way too commonplace, and I just don't want to be able to block something else altogether while sharing this one that is much more common folk. So another thing is I get a lot of entries. These probably take up the most with regards to people sharing their own encounters, anything involving their short stories, anything involving about what they've seen, and sometimes people ask for their opinions. I do definitely encourage people to post them on the actual, let's say, videos themselves. That's why, again, why I always post, I always end these things with like saying, post your comments, share them below, because I definitely want people to share their encounters. But what I wanted to highlight was, when people ask for my opinions on them, I don't really want, I guess, things to focus on me. That's another whole point about my YouTube channel. And as I've mentioned in the past, I really find it annoying when other YouTubers, and this is just me, my own opinions, but I find it annoying when others make their entire channels about themselves, and that's why I don't like it. Like whenever they do a channel, like they purposely put their face and they put their webcam straight on them, and it takes up most most of the video size itself. And so I'm thinking to myself, the whole point of the video is I'm trying to watch something else altogether, not the person that's making the video itself. It's a lot like taking a painting and the artist signing their signature, but the signature taking up most of the painting itself. It would seem annoying, wouldn't it? And so that's why whenever that happens, I've tried to make sure that I don't talk too much about myself. That's why I don't give my own opinions as to these things. But I wanted to highlight something. Those of you that have had a chance, go to my Facebook channel, and you'll see I have a section dedicated like to posts, just like anything involving a regular Facebook page where people can put posts to the page themselves. That's where I highly encourage people to also post their encounters, because what I'm trying to do is grow the Facebook page, because Facebook is a great way to be able to share more information. And if you have a chance and you haven't had it done it yet, be sure to like it, because I post a lot more things there on top of my YouTube channels. You'll find that I have a huge assortment of photos that I post, neat stuff that I just find on the web, and then stuff that I just type my opinions on, stuff that I would normally do that I couldn't do, let's say, on a YouTube video, but instead I can do it on a Facebook post, because it's fast and it's easy and it shares to everyone immediately, and that's why I love doing so. So highly encourage it. If you haven't had a chance yet, go to my Facebook page, which you'll find the link directly on my YouTube channel, and be sure to like it, so that way you can see everything that I'm updating there. And then that way, whenever you have a short story to share or any of your encounters, that's a great place to share as well. Here's another thing that I get asked on a lot of times. I mean, this is quite common. Can I be a part of a so-and-so podcast? Can I be a part of someone's channel? Can we get together to do and produce and share videos together? I probably get these on a daily basis now with regards to this. And again, my response to this is, first off, I'm very flattered at be able to be asked to do something like this by others. I never thought I would be in a position where on an almost daily basis I would be asked this. And again, I'm so flattered that people want my input and they want my help, or they want my opinions or anything involving their own stuff and how we could do things together. But my response is always that anything involving this, it just I don't want to do something like this, because I don't want to be able to do something where it would be considered like I'm failing someone. I want to keep things as simple and as efficient as possible. If I keep things just to myself only, then I don't have to have someone else count on me all the time. And I think that just makes it so much easier, so much simpler for myself, and that helps the success of these channels, of these YouTube videos that I do, because they're so simple, they're so efficient, they're so original. It's straight to the point. I consider it exactly like a straight Google page. When you go to google.com, you're just there for the search engine. There's no clutter, there's nothing else, there's no hyperlinks, there's no videos popping up that'll essentially delay the bringing of the homepage by who knows how many seconds. No, instead you go there and you just do the search. And that's the same principle that I try to follow here. I'm just here to do my own videos, keep them short, keep them simple, and then that way others can enjoy them. But if I start making things too convoluted, too complicated, if I start bringing in others, if I start merging with other channels, if I start working with others on their podcast and creating and sharing videos, it's just going to get way out of hand. And that's why I don't want to go into that route necessarily, at least right now. But again, thank you so much for your continued support, and for even again being so flattered at yourselves even asking me of this. So thank you so much again. Another thing that I get so often, so much with regards to comments and private messages is requested suggestions. Like someone will post, can you do so and so cryptid, or can you do so and so monster? And yes, I definitely do want your continued suggestions on that part. But the reason why I bring this up is because I purposely do these suggestions on a very specific set of videos. You'll see them every now and then. Those of you that are newbies, for example, I always make a very specific page or new video for them where I say, please post your suggestions. And the reason for it is, again, with so many things that I have coming into my YouTube channel, on the comments, on the private messages, and the stuff that people send me, it gets lost in the ether if people keep posting them on videos that I've, let's say, created 14 months ago or something along those lines. I'll never be able to see them unless I wade through all of the stuff that keeps coming in to try to find it. That's why I make those very specific videos where I ask for your suggestions. So please keep them coming, but save them until I have a brand new suggestions video established, and in that way I can look directly at them in one place, and that does yourselves a favor and it does myself a favor. And that's what I'm trying to do, just make things as easy as possible for yourselves, because you all definitely deserve it altogether. Now finally, here's some questions, at least on I guess some of the more stranger stuff, and then finally some stuff on my end too, like some of my own personal stuff. People ask, can I do certain creepypastas? I still get this repeated stuff, like as far as doing like Slenderman or doing some of the other stuff involving creepypastas, and my stance is kind of still the same. Anything involving creepypastas, I'm still of the opinion that I'm not going to do those, at least right now, and not in the foreseeable future, only because anything involving them, they're fake. I mean, they're stories. They're basically no different than going to a fiction aisle in a library or anything along those lines. The whole point of talking about cryptids and monsters is the idea that this stuff could be real. And yes, I understand that some of you out there, you'll definitely believe that a lot of those creepypastas are real as well. But for all intents and purposes, I'm trying to focus more on the stuff that could be challenged, the stuff that could be said, no, this is real. We have real footage. People have talked about these things for centuries. Some of these cryptids have been in cultures for who knows how long. And so that's the cool stuff that I love talking about, as opposed to the stuff like on creepypastas that, for all intents and purposes, was made whenever the internet first came about, and that's how that stuff is shared, and that's how it grew on its own. So creepypastas, right now the stance is no. And I'm sure there's a whole bunch of other people on YouTube that do their own great work on creepypastas already. So anything involving that stuff, I'm sure there's others out there that people can follow and listen to. But as of right now, no, I think things are going pretty well, at least on the stuff that I'm doing right now. But who knows, that could change. Another thing that I get requested on is, can I do stuff involving UFOs? UFOs, it does kind of fascinate me. There is that world involving extraterrestrials, and who knows what other visitors are coming from outer space. The only reason I don't really do that is because it's pretty bland. Like, there's not too much to talk about. There's the Greys, there's the aliens, and then that's it. I mean, I don't know. It's not like anything involving the cryptids and monsters where it's like an unlimited rainbow of colors of creatures to talk about. Here with UFOs, pretty much it's just talking about the encounters that people have had, like maybe some of the most memorable people that have had encounters with UFOs, like Betty and Barney Hill come to mind, Stan Romanek is another one, Bob Lazar is another one, but even then that's kind of limited. So I don't really know too much as far as like how well that could go because of the limited stance and how narrow things are when it comes to talking about UFOs altogether. Could I do them in the future? It's possible, but at least with anything involving UFOs, it's just like creepypastas. There's other YouTube creators out there that no doubt already doing a great job, so they have their own stance. But on my end, I'm probably not going to do them anything right now soon. But again, thank you for that suggestion. Finally, something more on the personal side, I guess, that I get asked a lot is, those of you that have followed my channel for a while now, you'll ask every now and then, like, how do I go on all these trips with regards to going to Comic-Cons, with regards to going to Las Vegas, with regards to going to Oklahoma, and it's real easy. The reason why I'm able to go on all these trips is because, and this is a passion of mine, I'm a huge coupon/rewards guy. I love rewards. Those programs that companies have that pretty much reward loyalty whenever you exclusively shop with them. And I love doing that because they win because they get a lifelong customer like me, and then I win because I get big discounts, I get big promotions involved. Sometimes I even get freebies because of my loyalty to them, and everyone ends up saving and winning at the same time. Same thing involving coupons. I love coupons. I collect them. Not like the stuff that like those shows where people go to grocery stores and they have like 100 coupons to put on the register. No, nothing like that. Anything else involving coupons, what I mean is stuff that comes like in the mail. You know how everyone that lives in apartments or in homes, y'all get those giant mailers that contain coupons for restaurants or coupons for ordering things online. That's the kind of stuff that I go for. And that way, whenever I'm paying for something, like let's say like a recent coupon that I used was Taco Cabana. Taco Cabana is a great restaurant here in the Texas area that has some fantastic Tex-Mex stuff, and they occasionally send to my apartment some coupons within those flyers that it's buy one breakfast combo, get another one for $1. And that's fantastic because normally a breakfast combo is, let's say, with a drink, I think it's like $5 and change, somewhere around there. So now both of them are almost $6 and change, as opposed to paying $10 plus and change. So that gives you an idea of how much you just saved off of that. And if you nickel and dime it that way on a daily basis, then you can truly spend a fraction of what you would normally spend. Same thing with the rewards that I talk about. Like, for example, I have the Hilton credit card that I do larger purchases on, especially my hotel stays. And the reason for it is because I get those points on the Hilton side, and then I turn in those points to get free hotel night stays. So I get rewarded from it, and then every now and then they have promotions where if I shop at certain places, then I get double, triple, sometimes quintuple type points for my hotel stays. So it really, really adds up. And then another thing that I do is I love doing surveys online. I usually spend maybe about 20-25 minutes every other day doing these surveys. There's mysurvey.com, there's esurvey.com. A newer one that I'm doing a lot now is called swagbucks.com, and those surveys you get points on just for sharing your opinions. And as long as you dedicate, like I was saying, about 20-25 minutes every other day or so, you can add them up. And the reason why I do those is because I use those surveys to trade in points for Amazon. And on Amazon, that's where I buy most of my, I guess you could call, general consumption. Like if I need new shoes, I buy them on Amazon. If I need, let's say, new paper for my printer, I buy them on Amazon. If I need something like even cat litter, I buy them on Amazon. It adds up real quick, the amount of points that I can get on all these things, all these surveys that I do, and that's my spending money. That's my disposable income. So when I combine all those factors together, it really does help when it comes to these trips. These trips, by the way, too, like when I go to Las Vegas or when I go to Oklahoma, the casinos that I help visit, I limit the amount of money that I spend on a daily basis, and then that way I ensure that I'm not overspending crazy on anything involving the slot machines. And then the coolest part is anything involving casinos. They are fantastic at their comps. I mean, they give me all the time free hotel stays. Those hotel stays alone are phenomenal. I mean, the WinStar, for example, in Oklahoma, your average night there is $119. For me, it's free. So I'm saving, if I, let's say, stay 2 nights, right off the bat, $240 or so, right then and there. That's amazing. That's $240 that I would normally have to pay out of pocket, but now it's free because of what I do and the rewards program that I'm involved in. That's the strategy that I go with. That's why I can go on all these trips, because I'm spending a fraction of what I would normally spend. Yes, I'm still spending some money, but it's definitely not what I would be spending under normal circumstances. Same thing with Comic-Cons as well. I love going to Comic-Cons, and early on I would spend a lot on those photo ops and then a lot on autographs, but I shifted my model probably about 2 years ago to instead just go only for the Q&As. So the only thing I pay for is the actual entrance ticket, whatever it costs to go that Saturday or that Sunday, and then that's it. Afterward, I just spend nothing other, maybe just some food, but that's it, because the Q&As are 100% fabulously free. I love it. I love those Q&As because it's a chance to hear and see your celebrities up front, and then that's it. No cost, no charge, although albeit some Comic Cons are getting into that stupid stance now where they're charging for Q&As, and that's when I'll quit altogether if that becomes a norm for everything. But as of right now, that's why I can go on all these trips on Comic Cons. I don't even spend on Comic Cons on merchants. Like, maybe I'll buy like a couple of bucks worth of comics, but that's about it. So that goes to show how I can go on all these trips and not hardly spend anything altogether. And then finally, another one that I get asked more on the personal side is why do I ramble so much when it comes to my videos? The reason for it is because I try to make it like something involving radio. I'm a huge fan of AM radio. Even when I was a young kid, I loved AM radio. There's just something about turning it on and listening to it, especially let's say if it's late at night, like 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. And there will always be something on the AM side. On the FM side, I never really listen to music because music is repetitive and it gets annoying real quickly. But anything involving the AM side, it's 100% original. I'm not even a huge fan of sports, but I love hearing sports on the radio because it's like the theater of the mind. You can hear the baseball game. Sorry, that's my cat right nearby because she's always nearby when I'm making videos. Yeah, you can hear sports on the radio and imagine it in your mind, and that's why I love doing it. So that's the approach that I try to go with these podcasts and with my videos. It's trying to make sure that you get, I guess you could call, your money's worth. I could make videos that are just 2 minutes long, but as I mentioned very, 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 very early in my YouTube channel, that's the whole reason why I created these videos, because I was sick and tired of those videos that are only 2 minutes long, and I wanted to hear something much more research about it. So sorry, those of you that might think that I ramble way too much whenever I'm trying, and some of you that say just get to the point. I try to make it again like the AM radio that I love, and I think it works because a lot of you love it as well. And so anything involving my rambling, I don't think I'm going to change going forward, but hopefully at least you'll be able to see my side and see why I do this. And then one last thing, I'll leave this like as a bonus of sorts. It's kind of neat, but it's kind of bizarre because I never really expected this angle. A lot of you out there seem to love my voice and ask for my opinions on like how my voice is and how I do it. I never really expected that. I just simply talk the way I normally do. That's it. But it kind of ties into another question that I get on time is what do I do for a living? Again, I don't really want to share too much info on my personal side because I don't want to make it about myself. But what I do for a living does tie into my voice. I'm not in radio, so it's not nothing like that. But what I do for a living definitely involves working with customers on a daily basis, sometimes even on a minute basis, because I deal with so many customers. And so anything involving my voice, you have to speak eloquently, you have to speak fluently, you have to be able to communicate in a confident and sometimes persistent manner. And so when it comes to my voice, I guess it just, from years of my career and doing of what I do, it just became natural at some point. I will add this though, as far as what I do, I definitely went to college for it, which I highly recommend for others out there. I know college is a little bit of a strange experience because you're trying to solidify what you're trying to do for the rest of your life. I guess I was kind of fortunate enough and I had my decision done early on in life. I love one of the founding fathers. He was the one that I became fascinated with at a young point in my life, and so I said I definitely want to do what this guy does. And so using that information, that's what I went to college for, that's what I got my degree in, that's what I eventually became as my career shortly afterward, and then that's it. The rest is history. So as far as what I do and how it ties in to everything I just mentioned, again, it's basically I was fortunate enough to have my career established for me very, very early on. If you want, those of you that are still trying to find what you're trying to do in life or anything involving college, I know it sounds cliche, but do what you really want to do. If you're really, really good at it and you're truly passionate about it, then success will find your way. I know it's cliche and I know it's something that people will probably roll their eyes on, but it is absolutely true. As long as you love what you do and you do it with true passion, then you will have fortune coming your way. There are some cases, of course, where people are not able to, let's say, find monetary success even if they're passionate to it, and that can happen too. But at the same time, I truly believe that if you can and you're doing it well, then you will find that success. So, alright everybody, that's my special edition video here, and I'll be making some more of these sometime in the future. I'll do these every now and then, again, as soon as more questions come about that I feel need to be answered. But thank you so much again, everyone, for your continued support and for your continued videos. Those of you that watch them and then subscribe, and for you older fans and newbies as well, again, thank you so much. Alright everybody, have a good day. Take care. Bye.